Today we're going to be wrapping up the month of May with 11 books. That is 3 romance, 2 suspense and thriller, 1 historical fiction, and 5 urban fiction. Let's get into it. My name is Raquel. Welcome and welcome back. Starting with number 1, which is going to be romance. And we're going to start off with the most anticipated book, Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I enjoyed this book. I love the fact that she added some current events in it, that she talked about a political political stance that's happening, and it needed to be spoken about. And I really enjoyed that. I feel like it made the book more interesting. Um, that it kind of shows where we are in the country today. And I love that. I can say that I enjoyed Can't Get Enough more than this one, but I probably shouldn't be comparing them because they were both great books. But I did enjoy it, and Forbidden Romance is one of my favorites. Number 2 is the first book in a new series by Christina C. Jones. The series is called Friction, but the book is called Touch. Now, I did DNF this book. I'm sorry. I love Christina C. Jones. I love her characters, their careers, the places where they're set, even the spice. I love Christina C. Jones. So this is a surprise to me as well. So I'll probably go back at a later date and try and figure out if it's just me right now or if it's just not my book. But yeah, I could not get into this one. So, and then we have Love Set Me Free by Sin. Now, this is one of the 10 books I'm supposed to be reading in the summer, and yet we're in spring and I finished it. Doesn't matter. It was good. This one was about a trio of friends, 2 girls and a guy. The guy goes to jail for something he did not do, and he's the boyfriend of one of the friends. He goes to jail, he gets out, he becomes the boyfriend of the other friend. So, my question is there ever a reason that makes it okay to date your exes, to date your friends or best friend, because in this case they were best friends? Is there ever a reason that makes it okay to date your best friend's ex? That is my question. Now, I don't think there's a reason. I don't. It's like way too many people out in the world to date to focus on my friend's ex. But once I read the story, it kind of made me think, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change what I think. But this will definitely make you think twice. Um, and yeah, it'll definitely have you second guessing yourself. But, I want to know what you think. Then we have Zeal by Morgan Jerkins, which is the historical fiction. This is a multi-generational romance. So there is a couple who is about to get married. The man in the couple has a love letter that was to one of his ancestors or from one of his ancestors, and somehow generations later he had it. So the book is about the original 2 couples that the letter came from and what happens with them, which is They are together. The Civil War comes. He goes to fight in the Civil War. They promise they're going to get back together. But once he get out of the Civil War, emancipation has happened and she is no longer there on that plantation. So now they are looking for each other. And what happens in between that time from the Civil War being over and them looking for each other, the next generation, and so on until they get to the current couple. So the man is kind of basing his relationship on this love letter. And the problem is, over the years, some things have gotten kind of mixed up and they aren't really clear. And so he doesn't really have all the information, and the information he does have is not quite what he thinks it is. So it's a really, really good book. I enjoyed it. It seemed really long, and I think maybe it seemed long because of the generation thing that it was going through. Like there were so many things happening, and I think that maybe that's why it seemed long. But I did enjoy the book. And then we have My Darkest Prayer, which is by S.A. Cosby. It is thriller and suspense. This one was so good. It was my second time reading it. My husband and I read this in about 3 weeks. One chapter, well, two chapters, one for him, one for me, a day until we finish, which is about 3 weeks. And this one's really good. It is about a guy who comes out of the military. He has lost his parents. He's an only child. Um, and due to some mishandling on the police department's part, he has lost his house. Oh, well, his parents' house. They lost the parents' house or whatever. And so his cousin has a funeral home, and that is where he lives. He lives in the funeral home. And this pastor preacher dies, and these parishioners come and ask for his help because they want to know what happened. How did he die? They don't believe what they're being told about why he passed away. And the guy, his name is Nate. He used to be in the military, but he was also a police officer as well. And so they asked him to look and see what he can find out. So he does some sort of independent, private investigator type work. And there is a lot of action, a lot of um, information that comes up that about his family, about the man, about the people in the town, the police department. He's got a fight and he's got, I mean, like, it's going on. I enjoyed it. It's like watching a movie in your brain. That is why I cannot wait for King of the Ashes. So this was really good. I enjoyed it. And then we have Amber Alert by Kiki Swinson. So Amber Alert was okay. It was what they say mid. It was okay. It was really one dimensional. The main character is a man and his wife, and their children get kidnapped. The thing that was really noticeable for me in this particular book is that she had one speed, and it was always go. She was on 10 every time she opened her mouth. She was always yelling and screaming and cussing, yelling and screaming and cussing, like to everybody, to the police, to her husband, I mean, it was just too much. And we never saw her really calm down and be a different person, have a different personality, show different parts of a personality. We didn't really even know who the guy, her husband, we didn't know a whole lot about him. We probably knew about the same about amount of information about both people, but they stayed in that one space. You really didn't get a lot of details, like the children were kidnapped, like where they were kidnapped, like what did it look like, where were they, like it just was no depth to the story. The story itself was a good story. The whole kidnap thing, I like that. Um, I did not like that you couldn't put a full picture, and I didn't like that in the end I still had questions. So it was not so good, but it wasn't like really, really bad. I am familiar with Kiki Swinson during her time writing urban fiction. I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. She wrote a wifey series. And so I went back because I wanted to see if her writing was always that way or if it was just this book. So I read maybe two or three chapters of wifey, and I kind of feel like it's only this book. Well, not only this book, but as far as I can tell, um, Wifey was not like that. It was just an okay book. And then we have Never Want to Love Again. This one was by Nicole, and it is urban fiction. Now, I was a little disappointed at this because here lately I've had an opportunity to give Nicole her praise. And so this book was kind of just okay. It was not as good as I thought it was going to be. It was just a romance about a girl who came to town, met this guy who was a big time rapper, and like nothing really special happened. Not really. It there was no just stories have different things that happen. So it's usually either another person comes into the scene, or another place, or a situation, or something. Like there has to be like at least one main thing that really pulls you in. And there was really nothing about this book. So it was just okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. And then we have What Are We by Kia Jones, part one and two. This was so good. It was so good, especially if you like urban fiction and messy drama, because that's what this was. It was really messy drama. The main character and the MMC and the MFC, these two people, they were both very, very messy. And he was upset with her because she broke up with him, and he refused to let her go. She knew something about him, I guess, that nobody else knew. And then he had this other friend who was in love with him since they were kids. And oh my God, she was super messy. And then you had her actual husband's brother, who was messy. So like every time I think of one of the characters, like really what comes up is messy, and I loved every minute of it. Book two was not so much as messy, but more, I guess, explanatory. Like it kind of gave you the reasons why, so and so did this, or why that happened, and this and that. It got into like the real background. And I think that that is what really, really made me like the story, because it didn't just stop at the mess. It gave some background, like what the trauma was that caused a person to think this way or behave that way, different things like that. And so I really did enjoy What Are We by Kia Jones. And then we have Keys to My City by Nick Mills, and I was so excited to get into this. So at this point, I have read the three of the 10 books that I was supposed to be reading for the summer, and that is Keys to the City, um, Never Want to Love Again, and Love Set Me Free. So I still have 7 books to read, but Keys to My City. This was an introduction to a new series, and I could say it gave introduction. So it is about this guy and his family who is kind of like got mob type vibes to it. The family goes back. They are the people who founded the town, and they put a clause that says that somebody from their family must always be in office. So currently, the uncle is in office, but he is a whole entire mess, and he is messing up the city. So the main male character, he is sort of like a Robin Hood type guy. He does bad deeds, but he also wants to do good. So while he's doing bad, he's also doing good things for the city. And it doesn't tell you about a love interest in the introduction, but there is one, and it's really cute. I liked it. I don't know. It says that it is a urban fiction, but I kind of feel like it could be considered an urban romance. There wasn't a whole lot of, you know, mess, for lack of a better word, to call it urban fiction. I felt like the majority of the book was focused on him and his love interest, but I did enjoy it. For it to be an introduction, it is definitely making me want to see what's going to happen in book two. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, so the book was, it was introduction worthy. And then, last but not least, actually, it is my favorite book out of the 11. I feel like it is the best book that I read in the month of May, and it is called Heavy is the Crown by Ivy Samone. It is so good. It is about this guy who gets out of jail after 7 years. He's trying to get his life together, and you've got these people from, 7 years ago who's trying to pull him back in any way they can, using whatever method they can to pull him back in. And he is just really not trying to go. So he gets a regular job, and then they try and bully him or make him feel bad for wanting a regular job, for living a regular life. And he meets this girl, and they have a pretend relationship. So this is one of those fake relationship things. So they do that back and forth, and it's really good. Um, I don't want to give away, too much. So I'm trying to think of what can I say about it without giving it away. I enjoyed this book. There is non-stop interest in this book. I'm gonna not gonna say that there is always action, but there is stuff happening that is interesting. I like the fact that they have like a little, what is it, like a Juneteenth party or something, but that they mention Juneteenth in this book. I can appreciate that. I like that they have, a couple of different scenes at different places. They're doing different things, and you know exactly where they are. I think that was my problem with um Amber Alert. Like sometimes I didn't even know where they were. There wasn't enough, details. But here the details are great. It's not too much. It is perfect. They are doing things. They're not in one place all the time. They are constantly, doing things. Even if he's not with her, the scenes with his mom or with his daughter, or the, messy baby mama, and, just different things like that. But this is a great book. It is definitely my favorite. So far, I realized that I think a book two came out recently in the last couple of weeks. And so I am going to read book two. I cannot wait. The thing is, I don't want to read it too soon. I want to kind of put some distance between me and book two. But I am going to read it before June is out. And so I'm sure that it'll be on my June's wrap up. So that was my 11 books for the month of May. Again, please let me know, is there ever a reason why it would be okay to date your best friend's ex? And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.